Hey, Survivor. Welcome to episode 166 of the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Today we're going to talk about something almost every survivor feels, but rarely talks about out loud. And that is feeling foolish after narcissistic abuse. Not just hurt, not angry, but embarrassed, ashamed, questioning your intelligence, your intuition, your judgment. And today, we're going to get all the way into it with compassion, neuroscience, and truth. But first, let's self-regulate with a 4-4-8 breathing exercise, if you'd like. And I invite you to plant your feet on the floor or on the ground, whatever's available to you. Get grounded in your seat, if that applies, and we'll inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 8. Ready? Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What do you notice in your body right now? Grab your notebook and pen, and let's dig in. Hey, Survivor. Welcome to the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Do you want to disconnect from a narcissistic or toxic situation and heal? Are you Googling how to identify a narcissist, narcissistic abuse, and boundaries? Are you feeling stressed and lonely while trying to avoid being sucked back in and lied to again? Hey, I'm Leslie. As a busy wife and mom, I fell for the lies and manipulations of narcissists. I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. I wanted real relationships and business opportunities and to enjoy life with my family. Instead, I struggled with anxiety, panic attacks, and insomnia, and I couldn't trust my body or anybody until I took a holistic approach to healing. In this podcast, you'll find tips for healthy living, trauma healing, and boundaries so that you'll have the freedom, confidence, and inner peace to respond, not react, after narcissistic abuse. Take a deep breath in, let it out slowly, and just relax. This time's for you. I consider myself to be a smart woman. I've always loved school since I was a little girl, and for the most part done well in school, and have continued to pursue education even as an adult. And that's just who and how I am. And I was conned and scammed by a covert malignant narcissist as an adult. And there was a moment when I realized just how much I had trusted this person who I had let into my life unchecked. I had been future faked and emotionally manipulated for months, like over a year. Fake opportunities and collaborative things dangled in front of me, being emotionally manipulated. They had this cancer backstory that I believed, and yeah, not one of my better moments. And there were details that I missed along the way during the course of my dealings with this individual. Like, they had shared some checkmate level information and really told on themselves to me. And I think when I realized that things were going south and that something was wrong, there was so much chaos in that moment that I missed some of that information and some of those details that would have saved me some time, energy, even money in terms of figuring out exactly who and what I was dealing with. But I got there. And there was a time when I defended the narcissistic individual. Someone close to me tapped me on the shoulder and was like, I think this person's really full of crap, and I don't think they have anything for you, opportunity-wise. And yeah, I think it's all lies, and I think you should just cut bait and move on. I was like, oh no, there's all these moving parts and different people, and these things take time, and there's a holdup here and this and that and the other, just totally rationalizing it. And So I spent a little more time than maybe I should have in that situation. And then there was a time when I doubted myself instead of the narcissistic individual. There was nothing happening, things weren't materializing, the promises were not being fulfilled. And it was like, it got to a point where it became outwardly clear to me that something needed to change because it was just, nothing was happening. And that it was probably time to let go. But inwardly, there was a part of me that still wanted to believe that things would materialize. So that was really uncomfortable. And I think that that was probably a big part of it. Just, doubting myself and questioning, just probably me and my body not wanting to deal with the discomfort of being wrong or having FOMO or anything like that. So if you've ever thought, how did I not see this? This episode is for you. Let's talk about why survivors feel foolish. Narcissists don't reveal themselves all at once. It's like a slow reveal, right? It's like a drip. They use charm, intermittent reinforcement, love bombing, and manipulation, and even the devaluation, depending on your background and how you were taught and trained and raised. Sometimes the devaluation, say in the form of passive-aggressive comments here and there, can serve as a twisted form of connection to the narcissist. And I know, like for me, I've always been a good student and really worked hard and tried to improve myself, through education, training, etc., learning, mentorship. And so even the passive-aggressive comments, I internalized it based on my background as an opportunity to do better. So I took that on. Professionally speaking, the narcissistic or toxic individual can give the illusion of, higher connection, like they're better than, they're superior, sense of grandiosity. And if you're not fully aware of who and what you're dealing with, and you're focused on whatever's being dangled in front of you, say if it's an opportunity or some kind of promise for the future, then you can internalize that as like someone to look up to or to stay connected to or even aspire to if you're in a work situation or whatever, and not even realize that you were the prize. Your brain was likely responding to connection, not deception. So you weren't stupid, you were bonded, and to the wrong person at that. Freud introduced the concept of betrayal trauma and showed that when harm comes from someone that we depend on, that the brain may suppress awareness in order to preserve attachment and survival. In other words, your brain can protect the relationship and prioritize the relationship before it prioritizes and protects the truth, because there's some kind of safety or sense of safety that depends on it. For your identity, this can lead to just a loss of trust in yourself, overthinking things like every decision. It can create a fear of future relationships and a lot of internalized shame. And the shame doesn't belong to you. The shame actually belongs to the deception. So let's lean into healing. L, lifestyle. You need to prioritize the curation of environments and relationships that reinforce truth, safety, and consistency. You need to distance yourself from chaos, drama, and emotional whiplash. You can do this by joining groups where you can get support, adding individual members to your support network, like a therapist or a healthcare practitioner, a trusted friend or family member that you trust and feel connected to. These are things that can really help you to be able to continue to move forward and also be able to release a lot of the shame, self-blame, and all of those icky feelings that go along with feeling foolish after narcissistic abuse. E, exercise. Moving your body can help you to move the shame and trauma through your nervous system. And the best exercise is the one that you will do consistently. Move in a way that's meaningful to you, that lights you up, and that can also put you in an environment that can give you the opportunity to connect with people who you can relate to or that you can possibly add to your support network. It could be something like trauma yoga. It's done in a very gentle, trauma-informed way that involves voice and choice. Just moving in a way that's more gentle, but that's meaningful to you and that gets the blood flowing and that gets you back into your body. A, attitude. Some of the most powerful messages are the ones that we say to ourselves or think about ourselves. Try shifting from, why was I so foolish, or how could I be so foolish, to what was happening in my nervous system at that time. Being self-compassionate is not a sign of weakness. It's an act of wellness. And nutrition. Stabilizing your blood sugar and brain chemistry with real food is probably one of the most underrated things that you can do. It's so easy to want to self-medicate and just eat all the things, gorge on just junk, whatever's handy, and not really think about the impact that that has on your brain and body. Maybe you need a real food buddy that you can go, you can make or go get smoothies with. Try some new recipes or following a recipe blogger that specializes in plant-based food. Minimalist Baker has some great plant-based recipes, keeping it simple because it's so easy to get overwhelmed as a trauma survivor. Your brain and body can get overloaded so easily. So keeping things simple is important. And one of the things I love about Minimalist Baker is that she has recipes that are like 10 ingredients or less, which also enjoy recipes from Sweet Potato Soul. Janae has some great plant-based whole food recipes and with a little bit of a southern bent to them based on her upbringing. And there are lots of others, but those are just a couple of examples. When you have low blood sugar, that can really drive emotional reactivity, and that can also fuel self-criticism, and no one needs that. So nourish your body and brain with real foods and find one blogger or one plant-based chef that has a book or something that you can follow, and you can build from there. Or just Google a plant-based recipe, make it a couple times, and then make it your own. One of the most empowering things is when you make the shift from the lies and self-blaming and shaming to truth. And the truth of the matter is that you didn't fall for a person. You actually fell for a performance. And I know for me personally, when I really saw the person that I was dealing with, the person who revealed themselves to me when the mask came down, when the scales fell from my eyes, was not someone that I would be dealing with knowing what I know now. You weren't gullible, you were generous, and probably to a fault, and you are not alone. Oftentimes, depending on how you were raised, you may have been raised to be a people pleaser or to do the most or service might have meant survival growing up for you. And I can absolutely relate to that. I've had to really learn how to set boundaries and to be realistic and to be wiser and more discerning with how I allocate my time, attention, and other resources. And it's really powerful when you get there. Also, you weren't blind. You were hopeful. And there's nothing wrong with being hopeful. We just have to learn how to channel it towards people, causes, situations where it's valued. And you weren't foolish. You were human. Your brain may have been trying to protect you during the time that you were engaged with the narcissistic or toxic individual, and that is normal. There's nothing wrong with you. Now, hopefully, you're informed. Remember, you weren't foolish, just fooled. Thanks for tuning in, Survivor. Your self-compassion matters. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. If this podcast has helped you understand who and what you're dealing with, sharpen your discernment, and move forward on your healing journey, share it with another survivor. Help me help others by leaving a review for the show. And let's connect on social. Take a screenshot, share it in your IG stories, find and tag me at The Vibrant Survivor, and I'll share your post too. I look forward to connecting with you on IG and seeing you back here. You're not alone and you're not crazy. Know who you're dealing with, know who you are. Take care, and I'll meet you back here next week. Bye-bye.